Infinity Ward has just unveiled the new DMZ and Battle Royale Resurgence map, Ashika Island, coming in Season 2, bringing a smaller, more close quarters map into the fray. Now today I've got all of the information that you're going to need about the new map, including information about all of the different name locations, what they might mean for DMZ, more in-depth details about those underground waterways, and pretty much a look across the entire map thanks to plenty of images that we've gotten from Infinity Ward. So if you're excited for Season 2 of DMZ and this brand new map that we're going to get to play, make sure you drop a like on this video to support it, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to climb to 900,000 subscribers here, and there's plenty more DMZ content coming on the channel in the near future, as well as full coverage of Season 2 when it kicks off later this month. Right then, let's get started with this tour of Ashika Island. We're going to start in the far northwestern sector of the island. I'll try and get my easts and wests right in this video. Apologies for the last one. Up here, we have Oginiku Farms, an area mixed with agricultural, residential, and industrial buildings. Could be a prime looting location for DMZ. At the very tip of the map, we have the ruined lookout, which features one of the 3 comms towers that the island has. The North Beach spans right along the northern shore of the island. There's a few boulders here to break up lines of sight, and it plays host to the water treatment facility. This sits in the center of the northern coast, and it has one of the 3 entrances to the underground waterways on the island. So this will be a good point to loot and have control over, because players will be able to use the brand new jet skis to move through the waterways, maybe make an escape from underneath. You're going to have line of sight. Inland from the comms tower, we have the greenhouses. Now, these look like completely new assets for the map, which is great news. No copy pasta from Al Mazrah. And the area has 8 of these large greenhouses alongside a couple of warehouses as well. No doubt these are going to be full of lockers and duffel bags that can be looted. One of the best places that you can find backpacks and cash in DMZ. Outside of the greenhouse facility, we have apartments, 2 large blocks contained by a roadway on the front and then sloping hills at the back. The roofs look accessible thanks to rappels on the outside. There are internal stairways as well, and behind the apartments on top of the hill is the island's power plant. This building sits inside a compound that's surrounded by chain link fencing, so it's pretty easy to see into. And inside is a large generator room with access to the waterway below via a tunnel. There are several entrances into that waterway system besides the water itself, as you'll see later in the video. Moving away from the farm area, we're going to take a look at the town centre. This is a rather dense location, lots of buildings, and thanks to the central river and its 2 bridges, it's connected to the beach club location as well. There's a seawall defence system in the water to the south of the town, which can be accessed by players who want to swim out there, or you can take a jet ski if you want to. Not a huge amount of cover, so wouldn't recommend it, but you never know, there might be some loot over there. A ferry terminal juts out into the water from the coast alongside the tourist centre building. This contains a map of the island as well as a gift shop and kitchens, which will be good for certain types of loot, like vintage wine. You can sell that at buy stations, get a lot of money from it, and buy yourself some plates. You're able to get onto the roof as well, which has sightlines back onto the farm area as well as towards the town centre further down the coast. Now, sitting alongside the tourist centre, we have the event centre, a building that's surrounded by this blue concrete flooring that makes it really recognisable. There's also an aquarium building, a small one, tucked behind this, which contains a tidal pool, and that gives you access to the waterway. So I'm assuming you can dive into that tidal pool, swim down, and then come out in the waterway somewhere. Sounds pretty cool. This event centre, the tourist centre, and the aquarium, they're all kind of similar in size in terms of buildings, and that probably makes it a good loot run location. Behind the event centre on the road, there is a gas station which will function exactly the same as Al Mazrah, and alongside the river entrance to the underground waterway, there is a science centre. This has 2 accessible floors, a roof that you can get to via an internal lift rappel, and a mezzanine floor overlooking the lobby. This, alongside the other buildings in town centre, is probably going to make it one of the places you're likely to find PvP action. The river channel has 2 bridges crossing over it, one roadway and one a footbridge, and the river is another one of the 3 entrances to the underground waterway system, so you can jet ski your way through here if you want to. In the mouth of the river, there is a floating gas station, ideal for refueling your jet ski before you take a tour of the island by water, and on that floating barge is a little bit of cover, so maybe you can hide behind it if you're being attacked by players, and then you can sort of jump down behind cover, dive under the water, and swim away. The seawall has a few sloping pathways up to the main island, so if you are swimming about, you have a couple of options. On the other bank of the river, heading towards the beach club, we have the market district, a hotel building and another gas station. Now the market area, it contains a few different buildings with varying heights, so that'll give you some vertical gameplay opportunities, and the hotel sort of towers above them, overlooking the market. So if you want a power position, you should take the hotel. It's got a ground floor lobby, a sushi bar, an elevator rappel up to the upper floors, and there's 2 premium rooms up the top and access to the roof. The gas station is similar to one on the other side of the river, and it's opposite the town hall building. The town hall, it's probably one of the biggest buildings on the map. It's quite maze-like apparently, and it's made of concrete and glass with multiple floors. Escalators from the open plan ground floor, they lead up to a small kitchen and a mezzanine area full of glass display cabinets, which are great places for loot, apparently. There's an upper floor that features a Zen garden as well, and the rocks behind you give you access to the castle grounds. The beach club itself is another large named location on the far south coast of the island. It features open-air swimming in the cove off the coast, another aquarium, bathhouses, and an observation point. The aquarium here is larger than the one that's further up the coast in the town, but it's devoid of life inside, unfortunately. It does have an exhibit room and a tidal pool under the walkway, but they look rather outdated. The bathhouses lead out to an open barbecue area with sealed beach huts and a main clubhouse, and there is an upper bar area on top of the bathhouses here in the beach club. Probably, again, another good place to look for wine bottles that you can sell at buy stations for plates. The beach and observation point, they sort of mark the end of the beach club, and a large footbridge connects that observation point to the main island, and inside the observation point there is a large central spiral staircase, so I wonder what could be at the bottom of that. And finally, flanking the beach club is a large demolition site of what looks like a massive old house. It's semi-destroyed at the moment, but it could provide a less populated looting point in the DMZ. Now, moving on to the main event, the castle in the center of the map. This is a large plateau with views overlooking the rest of the island, dominated by the ancient buildings and walls. Underneath, there is full access to the waterway, and there's a submarine base underneath the castle as well. The main stronghold building is a maze of hiding spots, access points, and places for you to explore. It extends below ground as well, so expect plenty of places that you can loot. There is a moat that protects 3 sides of the stronghold, not all 4. The 4th side is protected by the hills, so the moat sort of just goes round in a horseshoe shape around the building. The moat wall has several openings into the bailey, which lead into an inner-walled dojo courtyard, which features a radar trailer. There's plenty of buildings linked into this stronghold location, with bridges connecting the land outside the walls to it directly. Now, beyond the outer walls, on the northwest side, there is a set of SAM site missile launchers. There's 3 of them that have been set up here around low defensive walls. No doubt these are going to be part of your faction missions in DMZ for this map, but considering all 3 of them are in the same location and the map is much smaller than Al Mazrah, if you activate one of these, it's probably going to draw a lot of attention. There's also an old well here, which apparently we should be checking to see what is at the bottom of it, so maybe an Easter egg hunt. There's a North Museum in this area as well, but it's set well outside the main stronghold perimeter. This location contains the museum itself, there's a courtyard here, there's a ceremonial hut, there's 2 linked buildings with 2 floors. An upper floor also has a server room in it as well, so if you're looking for a GPU, maybe you could go in there. And then further east is the northern main entrance to the castle grounds, which houses a visitor center with a raised floor, so vehicles can pass into the grounds and get quick access to the moat. Now, as I mentioned, there is a sub-base under the castle in the waterways. It's carved out from the rock underneath, and this is the central point where the 3 different entrances meet. One from the waterworks, one from the central river, and the other from the port, which we'll get onto in a second. There's quite a few more entrances, as I've mentioned though, lots of little pathways and different ways that you can get down and up from those waterways, and there's probably more that are even mentioned from the information that I've had here, so over the next few weeks, once we get to play the map, we'll start to find those passages. Moving on to the port now, this sits on the southeastern coast of the map and it gives you the last entrance to the waterways. The dockside and warehouses that sit on the south side of the waterway entrance will give you plenty of looting opportunities, and you can see in the background there's another of the 3 comms towers that are on this map. The waterway entrance is again covered by 2 bridges, giving you access to the other side of the port, flanked by a large set of warehouses, again great for industrial loot spawns. There's also another server room here and offices sitting alongside the river entrance. There's a floating gas station that sits in the mouth of the river entrance, giving you a chance to fuel up your vehicles, and there's a land-based gas station on the other side of the port, but this one is much smaller than the ones that we've looked at in the town and the beach club. Further along the port road, there is a mechanics yard and a set of oil vats, similar to the ones that we've seen on Rohan Oil, but probably a little bit smaller. And here you can also find various warehouses and office buildings, again, good for looting in DMZ. And then we come round to the shipwreck. This is connected to the port area by a set of rocks, which give you a great overview of the beach area where 2 ships have run aground. Now, both of those ships are identical cargo tankers. They are rusting away. One of them has a hole in the side of the hull that you can gain access to for looting, but both of them have had their containers removed and placed onto the beach to form the loose layout of one of your favorite container-based multiplayer maps, Shipment. So it's here, and I think it's also on Al Mazrah on the ship at Hafid Port as well. Sitting above the beach between those 2 ships is the clifftop demo point. This will give you a good view of the beach below and any players who might be looting there. There is a zip line that can take you from the beach up to the top of the cliff. And along the coastal road beyond the demo building is our final gas station and the 3rd comms tower on this map. This connects the road to our final name location, the residential district. This sits alongside and comes inland from the water treatment facility, and it's almost always covered in a thin layer of fog, so this is going to reduce your long-range sightlines. All the buildings here are wooden ones, 1- and 2-story houses, giving you a chance to loot for basic gear before perhaps moving inland towards the castle in search of more valuable items. And that just about covers the brand new Ashika Island map for DMZ. Later on this week, I will be making a video covering off all of the details for Season 2, including the Battle Pass, new weapons, and all of the changes that will be happening. There's a blog post coming out soon. I'll make a video on that, so look out for it. But in the meantime, you should watch this video right here. An amazing round of DMZ where we complete the gas mask dead drop mission against all of the odds. I'll see you there.